So today I worked on the first meeting. I'm planning 3 meetings. The first is safety in and around the clubhouse and basic first aid. The second one is planning a meeting around healthy cooking. As you note, it becomes after the first aid meeting for good reason. And the last one is about pioneering and safety around that. So that's what we're going to do. For instance, this meeting's taken a lot longer than I thought it would to plan because, of course, I have to come up with every idea, and then because this is the most content-heavy meeting, trying to teach a kid first aid is not exactly super easy or fun. Because the ages I'm teaching this to age from 11 to 18, so it's quite a big ask to try and keep them all concentrated and together for the entire time. So what I've done is I've split the day up into 5 parts. The afternoon actually. So the first part is just an energizer, so it's just like a start game, while everyone's still getting there. Then I'm going to split them up into 4 groups to do 4 stations, each in a different room. I'm still figuring out where these things are going to be based, because ideally they'd be in different rooms, but we don't really have 4 rooms, so we'll see what happens. So the Energizer is basically something I was taught in school by a teacher. He had this game where people stand on opposite sides of a table, and then they have an object in the middle, and then there's heads where you're supposed to tap your head, shoulders where you have to tap your shoulders, knees which where you put your hands on your knees, table where you put your hands on your table, and then grab where you try and grab the object. So basically just play that for 15 or so minutes and don't really tally score or anything, just get everyone happy. Then I'm going to split them into 4 groups, and then the first group is going to go with one of the leaders. I haven't exactly decided who. Of course, Lucy, just go ahead, it doesn't matter that much. Just basically first aid, like cuts and abrasions. Firstly, she's going to lay out the first aid on the table, and then do a couple small situations like what do you think you need in the situation of a burn, just to get them all familiar with what's in the kit. Maybe it'll give her some opportunities to explain what there is. And then she's going to do first aid for cut or abrasion, demo it on a kid, and then have them do it on each other without using too many supplies. And then first aid for a burn, so demo it, cooling, applying lotion and bandaging, and then have them do it on each other. And then group 2 with Duncan. I'm still about halfway through this one, but it's quite difficult for me at the moment because it's quite heavy and I'm not quite sure if what I'm doing is allowed. So this is what I've described as the more scary first aid, because we have first aid step 1 and first aid step 2. They're not going to do it in order, but it's worth them knowing. So the first one is when to play. The first thing they're going to do is they're going to play a when to call 112 match game, because I found this difficult sometimes. Some of these, but sometimes you find it difficult not really to know when exactly to call 112. For instance, I thought it was for. Sorry, everyone's leaving at the moment, so that's a bit. For instance. So for instance, we're having a game where you decide when to call 112, and the kids split them up into yes or no. You say, could you close the door? I'm trying to record something, please. And then what to do about stings and bites. For instance, I have a situation of about 6 different stings and bites, and then I'm going to have them match the image. So for instance, like a tick bite or a mosquito bite, to what you're supposed to do about it, to the picture, to where they are, so that way they'll recall okay, I'm in a grassy area, there'll be ticks. If I found a tick, this is what I do. But what I've told the dealers they can do is if the kids are extremely squeamish, or they don't want to see them, they can remove the pictures of the bites, because some of them have animals involved or pretty graphic things. And then I was working on the first aid skills. I think they might need some bit more complicated stuff, some more related to falls and bigger accidents that may happen when they're around. So for instance, I was going to see if Duncan, one of the leaders, would teach them lots of people leaving, would teach them the Heimlich, so have them for him to demonstrate it them, and then for them to practice it gently, very specifically gently, or to skip that if they're not mature enough to do it gently, as well as concussions, what to do about those, then seizures, what to do about that, and then demo the recovery position, because that's really important, especially in case, because most of these kids are going to be in a situation where someone they know is drunk and they need to make sure they don't die. And then group 3 goes with me, and Mello told me to do water first aid, because there are certain ways you have to lift someone out the water to make sure they don't get hurt, how to judge depth, all very important stuff. as well as safety in and around the clubhouse, because they need to know how to be safe in the area and around. For instance, you know, the basic rules we have around there. And then, for instance, I need to ask her about some general water safety, what she thinks is important, because she has a couple of diving stuff. And then group 4 with Wouter is going to learn CPR, because he's done it before, and if he wants to, he's going to teach it to them. If not, I'm going to just have 3 groups and have him possibly help me with mine. Yeah, so that is the plan so far. Yeah, this is meeting 1. I have an idea for meeting 2, which is to make some Korean sushi sort of thing. And then meeting 3 will probably just be very basic. Oh yeah, let's start a fire. You know, you guys make some pioneering, that sort of stuff. Yeah, thank you.